Let's talk about the Confederate flag. I feel I'm qualified. I was born and raised in Fort Payne, Alabama, which happens to be the same town that the country group Alabama is from. Yeah, that group. They're from my small hometown of 14,000 people in northeastern Alabama. As I grew up in the early 80s, I saw some of the album covers of Alabama's, and they had a rebel flag on them, the Confederate flag. That was my first exposure to it. And then Dukes of Hazzard, the General Lee, rebel flag. Growing up as a kid in the 80s, never once in my mind did that mean racism. It never was associated with that. It was just, oh, I'm proud to be Southern. Yay, that's all it meant. And then after I stopped being a kid in the 80s and I became a teenager, I didn't even think about the rebel flag. There were certain kids in high school that they became rednecks and they wore the Wranglers and all that stuff and listened to country music. And they had rebel flags in their pickup trucks or on their walls in the bedroom, whatever. But that wasn't me. I was part of the alternative rock thing and all that, skateboarding, all that, right? I just didn't think about rebel flags anymore. But by the time I got to college, I started becoming aware that that Confederate flag that was on those album covers and on the General Lee, on the Dukes of Hazzard, just a cheesy show from the 80s that a lot of us liked, I realized that that was a symbol of hate to other people. So, because I'm an emotionally intelligent guy, I thought, you know what? Sure, I'm proud to be Southern, and I wish that I could associate with a symbol that meant that. But that Confederate flag is not that. And now that I understand that, I'm disassociating myself from the rebel flag. And I moved on with my life, and that was the end of it. But why is it that there's certain people like me who grew up with it, not thinking of it as hate, and then once we realized, but even though you don't think of it as hate, others do, so then I just abandoned it and moved on? Why is it there's people like me that can do that and others that can't? Why are there other people from the South that grew up with it, same thing with me, but they're latching on to it and they defend it? And they're saying, oh, well, it's not about hate, it's about heritage. That's their defense. I'm making this video not to defend them, but to explain where they're coming from, because I want to basically assure you that most of those people are never going to change their mind, but it has to do with more psychology than anything. I'm not here to say whether or not people who defend the rebel flag are racist or not, or whether it truly is just heritage. Don't care about that. That's what we're talking about. I simply want to talk about psychology and why they think the way they do versus why I think the way I do. It's called identity protective cognition. Identity protective cognition. And here's what that means. When a person is so wrapped up in their belief system that it becomes part of their identity, that anything you say against that is only going to reinforce their own beliefs. You're never going to convince them otherwise, because anything they hear is an attack on their identity. So you're not going to convince them, even if they're truly not racist, but they still want to defend the rebel flag. They're still going to tell you, it's my heritage. I'm proud to be Southern. I don't hate anyone. I'm not against any race. I'm just proud to be Southern, and it's my right to wave this flag on my pickup truck. And I think there's a lot of people who truly, that's where they're coming from. I think there's a lot of people who truly aren't racist. But that's not the point. The point is, those people are not willing to say, but if it's a symbol of hate to you, then I'll get rid of it. See, that's what I did. But a lot of people, they're so stuck on their identity that they're never going to change. And nothing we say is really going to change what they believe. It's only going to reinforce what they believe. So I make this video to explain. There are certain people like me who get it. We get over it. Oh, it's a symbol of hate? Okay. Bye-bye, rebel flag. I didn't know. Now I know. Okay, I move on. Other people, you're attacking their identity and they just can't get over it. So it's all about psychology, identity protective cognition. I moved on with my life. Other people, they're just not going to. I don't want to offend anyone. I got rid of it. Other people, they care more about their own identity than offending people. I don't want to offend anyone. Who cares about my identity? That's what I have to say.